Welcome to So You Think You Want to Be an Author livecast with myself, Linnita Hosten, and Felicia Ford. Look, we're talking real talk today, successes, failures, and teachable moments about authorship from two millennial women, and we're excited to share all that we have in store today.
Hi, so I am Felicia Ford. I am the author of The Mentor Model. And I just want to tell you that this live cast is for everyone. It is for people who are considering to write a book, people who started a book and can't finish the book, people who have completed the manuscript and just don't know what to do, is just sitting at home, people who just want to support Black women doing their thing.
Amen.
Who like to read and want to know other books that are out there. People that currently have a book and in need of marketing suggestions. People who want to learn more about just Felicia and Miss Linnita's work in general. So this is for you. So tune in and let's take this show on a road. Are you ready, Linnita?
I'm ready. We have a lot to share. Look, I know you guys are going to walk away feeling like this was a well worth 50 minutes of your time. So let me jump right in. My name is, again, Linnita Hosten. I'm an author of The College Strategy, How Ambitious Students Create Workplace Value. This is actually, it's my first official hard book, but I did write an ebook prior to this one. I'm also a speaker and a coach. I support young women ages 16 to 25, championing them to their standard of excellence. And so I wrote the book, The College Strategy, because I had an incredible college journey. The experience was invaluable, and that's because it was very strategic. And with that, I was able to negotiate the salary of my first job full-time at the age of 21, turning 22. And it's just been downhill from there. I've been in boardrooms. I sat on interview panels. I've been in places where people who are 21, 22, 23 should not have been in. And that's because my college experience prepared me for that. And so I wrote the book because I wanted more students to kind of maximize the time that they had on their campus. Like, maximize that time you have while you are 4 years in, only focusing on your academics. Let's use it strategically. So that's kind of why I wrote the book. What about you, Felicia?
So I wrote The Mentor Model, Tools to Building and Sustaining a Healthy Mentor-Mentee Relationship. And who I am Felicia, a goal-driven person who's just committed to the upbringing of sustaining relationships with your mentor and mentee. I also am a nonprofit of One Step Closer Foundation Incorporated. It's a nonprofit organization which create employment opportunities and education opportunities that will enhance individuals toward higher education, financial deferment, educational and financial professional development, and just becoming the best change agent you can possibly do or be. In my organization, we provide services such as tutoring services. We are also a math organization, which we conquer in you facing your fears in math. I know it sounds, every time you hear the word math, you get nervous, but don't, because that's why One Step Closer is here for you. We also have summer jobs for youth ages 14 to 18 years old to help enhance their resume. Awesome. And be committed and competitive in the college process. We also give scholarships. This year, we made 5 years in our organization, and we don't $1,000 of scholarships, which Linnita's sister was one of the recipients to receive it, and we did it at Temple University this past June. So we are 5 years old today. So now we are going to take this show on the road and just get into our first topic. Hot topic number one. Linnita, take us away.
How did we start? Oh my goodness. So I started writing my book in 2015. I was actually going through a state of depression from a breakup, as most women do. And I was going to counseling with my mentor, and we were reading scriptures and reflecting. He would send me homework assignments. And I shared with him that it was my desire to write a book. It had been on my heart since about 2013, and he had just published his book. And so we incorporated with our counseling kind of like a journey to writing the book. So we reflected on like what and what would it be about and how. And so that's how my first ebook, which is called Everyone Says Go to College, but What Do You Do When You Get There? It's on Amazon. I only sold 7 copies, so I didn't really promote it. It was more like a goal attainment to me. Like, I started and I finished. It was only 13 pages. And I think that may have been like 1.5 like spacing. So it wasn't very long. So, but it's actually, that ebook was the skeleton to the college strategy, because I used that to expand upon what you see now, the finished product. And so how I started, I opened up a Word document, and there were 7 areas that I felt students could definitely focus or hone in on to kind of make them competitive in the workplace. That's really what the book is about. It's really about how to create workplace and marketplace competency while on your college campus. So I break that down into 7 areas. And I did that in a Word document until it expanded into 100 pages. So that's what you see today. So that's kind of how I started. What about you, Felicia?
So my process was definitely a process. I started because it was a passion to me, and I knew I had a voice to try to get it out, that the effect of having a mentor and having a mentee and having a long-term relationship, what it can do in the trajectory of your life. I knew that from just being a part of different organizations, mentoring organizations, and we having different training sessions, I knew there was something missing. And I wanted to create a roadmap, which is what this book is about, just giving different details on how to sustain the relationship. The organizations only prep you on how to just start or join a relationship, but how do you keep a relationship? It's just like any relationship. You need tools to try to help it grow and sustain. And one pivotal point of why I wanted to write this is because I failed. I failed at starting and maintaining a mentee relationship with a mentee that I had when I was 19 years old. And, from that, I tried to weigh it out. And the reason why I failed is because I didn't know that the main component to sustaining a relationship with a youth mentee is through their parent, because they, have the main responsibilities, the main say about everything. And then I started gauging my own mentor-mentee relationship with my mentees. So I have 6 mentees now. And just from this 7-year span of having them, I seen the growth factor and I seen the benefit. So then I said, well, let me write something that can help people keep these relationships, because other youth that have not been, blessed or just able to have a long-term relationship with their mentor, because mentors have other lives, they go into other career fields and they just forget about the mentee, or they in the relationship, which they don't know, it leaves a dent, right? It leaves a dent on the mentee's life. Now, this is a youth mentee, but there are also adult mentees that can use and be a part and this book can have an effect on, because everybody can have someone that can take them to the next level. It doesn't matter their age. So I started, and I started writing a book, and I knew I had 3 components, because there's 3 components of mentorship. There's the mentor, there's the mentee, and then there's the mentor relationship. So I knew it was a 3-part book. But then I brought it to a publisher at first, and, she kind of gave me feedback, and I like feedback, but then she kind of like pushed the feedback to, maybe you need to just get a ghost writer, which is a lot of money. So what are you trying to tell me? So I started listening to a lot of motivational videos and downloading them to my phone, and, getting the, changing the way I think, changing what people thought about me. And I knew I always had, a difficulty in writing. I knew math was always a strong point. So I wanted to put myself to the test, challenge myself. And I just went ahead and continued it. I did creativity by doing a video to help me push it, to help me motivate me to continue to write. I started to draw and color and do a lot of vision boards. And that's what led me to the complete product of what is now the mentor model.
Wow. And you know what? You bring up a valuable point. I know I'm guilty of disrupting relationships with my mentees. I don't do a good job at maintaining that. And so I purchased Felicia's book just for that. It's actually right here in my library. And so, yeah, and I value those relationships, and they're important. So thanks for sharing that. Thanks for sharing your insight. Okay, so publishing, going the publishing route versus self-publishing. And, okay, so
keeping it real.
All right. So initially, I'm the kind of person who feels like you got to do it the right way the first time. You got to go the right way. So I initially inquired from 3 publishers I submitted the book cover that I had designed to them, and maybe like the first 2 chapters, I believe, and they reviewed it, and they thought that it was a great product, and they were on board, and I was on board until they sent me that quote, which was between the early $4,000 all the way to $7,000. And the thing that didn't sit well with me was that you really don't own 100% of the profits of your book until you pay off the publisher.
Okay.
And who's to say that the book sales would equate to the amount that you would pay the publisher? It's a hit or miss. So not to say that I didn't think that I was able, but I didn't feel that this particular project was publisher worthy in my eyes. And so I am gonna write a second book, and for that book I will go the publisher route. But for this book I went self-publishing route, and it was interesting to see the entire process, because when you go through the publishing route, everything happens on the back and you just upfront the money. Okay. So I was involved strategically in every part of the process, from the book cover design, choosing colors, deciding on the font, the typography in the book. And so it's like building a house. It's like building a house, except everyone's gonna see it way many more times than you will. And so it was kind of rewarding. Rewarding. What about you, Felicia?
I like the building a house analogy, because you have to start at the foundation. I went self-publishing, and I did my research. I spoke to a lot of people that went the publishing route. They always saying it's costly, but also the self-publishing route, people said it was costly too. So I just had to go with my own gut and my own knowledge and my own research. And that's usually how you have to do it. You have to sort out what's best for you. And then I listened to Miles Monroe, the YouTube video, How to Write a Book. He gives the distinction between self-publishing and publishing. And from there, I kind of based it off my own judgment. It was really, I had a lot of people that already wrote books in my network. So it wasn't really as difficult as I thought, because they did it. So they kind of walked me through. And that's the benefit of having great networks and people that are doing the things that you want to do. So like you gravitate into people who write books or wrote books or who became great authors, best-selling authors. So you kind of start to market yourself with them and network with them to pitch ideas and to also get ideas. So that's the route I went. Self-publishing was definitely, you are everything. Everything. So this self-publishing journey never ends. So if you don't have the time to try to like pitch your own self, market your own book, put yourself out there numerous amount of times, then maybe publishing would be the best route. But if you do have, time, and time is very like, not even the right word, because we both are busy women. And I don't like to use the word busy. So we both are active women and engaging women. However, we know that we had a passion and a word to share to the world, and we took the time to do that. So self-publishing was the way that I took.
Okay.
What about book launch and pre-launch tips? Linnita, I know you just had your book launch, September 30th, birthday treat?
It was my goal in the beginning of the year, beginning of 2017, to complete the book and host a book launch for my birthday. And so for the past 2 years, I've been using my birthday as a sales opportunity, basically, for my platform. And so I didn't have a birthday party. I didn't have
How did you turn?
I turned 28. And so the book launch was awesome. I had a host, and we had a signing of the book. People came and signed the book. I had like snacks, hors d'oeuvres. They could take photos. And then I had a Q&A portion where people could ask me questions like, why did you write the book? Who do you intend to touch? What was the most difficult part? And I actually teared up. I'm such a crier. So someone asked me, they inquired about how I balance and all that I do. And how was I able to do that and write a book? And I'm all about transparency. So I broke that down, and that broke me down. But God is so good, because you really don't know your strength until you're tested. And this book was a test of mine. So we had a Q&A. I told the story of why I wrote the book, how the people who came to the book signing could support not just the book, but me. I also raffled off two services that I offer, which is I train other speakers to master their stage presence. So I raffled off a certificate for that. I also raffled off the College Strategy Workshop Series, and that's something that I created out of the book. So the book is one product, but from the book, you can create multiple products. So this is a workshop series from the book. So I always say the book is a conversation starter, and you can use it to start the conversation about how to maximize college. But if you really want to sit down and create a blueprint, the actual plan, that's going to have to be facilitated. And so this was a pamphlet that was given to everyone. It breaks down the 3 workshops that are available and what the learning objectives are. So I gave away that. And I also had everyone, this is a little token of mine, I like cheesy stuff. So I had everyone sign my book cover. I got this printed at Staples. It was like $12. And then I'm going to hang it up. So that's the sign. This is just, you need reminders of how far something took you, the tenacity, the drive. So this is a tangible reminder of what hard work, what it can resort to. And so I had them do that. And then we also read a passage from the book. The passage was basically why I wrote the book, and I shared that with my audience. So that was my signing. Now, look, Felicia is a creative one, y'all. This is the corny, cheesy stuff. Felicia, how was your book sign?
So my book signing was September 28th. Yeah, it was amazing. It was definitely hard. The process of getting there was definitely difficult because you doubt yourself. You go through a lot of different mental manias. That's what I call them. And it was just crazy. But having friends like Linnita to give you ideas and to also other friends to give you ideas, it was awesome. But my book launched September 28th. We had games. So I said, guess the mentor to this mentee. So it was like from celebrities to basketball players to motivational imprints in the Black society, like Maya Angelou, Martin Luther King, you know, Benjamin E. Mays, like people like that, that really impacted us, and other things. Like just, it was a industry field who guessed this mentor. So that was the game. We get prizes out. We did a collective vision board that everyone came together to contribute to the vision board that said, what is a mentor? It was a big question. What is a mentor? And we had magazines and people printed out different things of what they thought was a mentor. And I'll show you the picture toward the end of the segment. We gave out many booklets of the mentor model. This idea came from Pinterest. One of my accountability partners, best friends, you know, sent me some ideas, and this idea came off of it, just creating a mini booklet and not giving all your book, but just hot topics in your book that people can like really like get a sense of what your book is about and basically purchase your book. We also did the bookmark about the cover, you know, the title. I also say, my quote to mentorship is Maya Angelou's quote, which is nobody but nobody can make it out here alone. That was a big thing. I had my mentees there. They gave testimonials of the impact. They're 16 and 18 years old. The impact of having a mentor like Felicia since they were 11 and 12 years old. So they gave that journey, and that it wasn't all pleasing and it wasn't all bright, right? This mentor thing is not a game. Like these youth or adults is not going to take you through, you know, the mountain. And, you know, it's just, you know, it's going to be some valleys, right? They're going to take you through a lot. They're going to test you, and you're also going to test them. Yeah. We also ate, right? Food is very important to do.
Yeah.
It was 6 o'clock, but I went through my venue was a restaurant, and it was free. All you had to do was buy their food. So that worked out. It kind of even the cost. But games, entertainment, bringing people together. You always want something that will bring something together. And mine was a vision board. Linnita's was everyone signing. You know, games is always great. Now, also, like some of the things I also want to say is, you know, the pre-launch, right? Pre-launch is very important. Now, I started my pre-launch when I had the book in my hand. Now, Linnita, I know you may suggest something, but I thought it was late. Like I had the book already, then I started advertising. And so what are some of your suggestions on pre-launch tips?
So I remember when I had a speaking engagement in Atlanta. It was July 12th or so, and it was actually for the target audience of my book. And I was not quite prepared to print, but I was going to rush it to the printer so that I could have those books at that conference. And so I remember talking to a representative from the publishing company, and she said, because I was sharing to her, I said, how fast can we turn this around? Like, I was ready to make a payment. Well, until they sent me the proposal. But she said, well, it sounds like you're rushing. She said, do you feel like you're ready to print? And I said, no. And she said, well, here's my suggestion. You don't have to have the book to sell it. You can go there, print out a foam copy of the book, set it up on a nice little easel, and be prepared to explain, you know, really push and sell the book, even though you don't have it in your possession, and then offer perhaps free shipping. So oddly enough, I shared that conversation with my mentor, who is also an author of several books, and he said, absolutely not. You do not do that. You don't know when it's going to come out. You don't want to get people's hopes up or take their money, and you don't have a product. So I was torn, but I went to Staples anyway, and I printed out a foam board, and I set it up, and I sold one book. And you know, I only sold one, but the feeling that I got out of, one, I'm not finished. Two, someone saw the value enough to purchase something that they couldn't take home in hand. That made me feel incredible. And so, so when I got home from Atlanta, I had to get on the ball with my editor, and I started to push the book on social media. So I created some graphics, and they were basically, and I'll show you one that I created here. It was basically a pre-sale graphic. It looks like this. And so I will post that on my Instagram. I posted it on my Facebook just to kind of create some buzz on, you know, about the book prior to its launch.
Okay, I like that a whole lot. So that, like, mine was when I had the book, I had one book. This was the draft book that came after I pressed print in the printer, and it came to my house. But this was to do some extra editing. So somebody said, well, just put it out there. Just put it on Facebook, put it on Instagram, and say you have a book, give them a link. So I put my book on my website. I created, you know, a link on my website that says buy book here, you know, linked it to PayPal, put the price, like did something real quick. I didn't have a flyer, I didn't have anything, but I did have the book cover that somebody designed for me when it went to print. So I used that, and I said pre-sale, right? And I got some traction. I did get a lot, but I had already ordered 100 copies, but it just didn't come yet.
Okay.
So I like how you already suggested, you know, do it anyway, go by faith. I think that was great. So, wow.
Yes, Lord. So Felicia is the queen in vending. So I'm sure she has some strategies. But from a speaker's perspective, because that's my lane, prior to me actually being an author, I was a speaker for 4 years prior to the book. And so, so you have an opportunity okay, so let me back up for a second. When I was a speaker, people would tell me, if you really want to get paid, you need more products because your speech is not enough. What other ways can people buy or purchase the value that you bring outside of you coming? Can you sell books, workbooks, workshops, ebooks, mixtapes? How can you diversify the products that you offer? And so the book kind of, I guess, increase my leverage as far as being able to go to speaking engagements. So while I'm there, okay, let me back up. When because I have a brand manager, she solicits my press kit to attend events.
Okay.
And we agree that I'll waive, not free, so you don't say the word free, I'll waive my speaking fee if I can set up a table and sell my products. And usually it works unless they are really sensitive about things being sold at an event. And that really depends on the type of venue. Like, is it okay for them to have cash handling on site? Is it a free event? Are they collecting money for donations? So if that conflicts, then that makes it a little challenging. But if none of those conditions exist, usually they are in favor of that. Now, the only way that this is successful is if you're going to an event where you know that market or that group of people is going to want the product that you offer. So I know if I am agreeing to a conference where we have a multitude of people who work in college access, college admissions, we're talking like Upward Bound, summer bridge programs, high school counselors, engaged parents. If I know that those people are going to be in the room, I will come for free. And I'm coming with a box of books and a banging pitch from the stage. I mean, I'm coming ready, right? I'm putting on my whole armor and I'm coming. I'm going to dress the part, I'm going to look the part, and I'm going to speak their language. And so that has worked out in my favor. Now, I have done vending opportunities. They are not my favorite because perhaps maybe because I'm not a salesperson per se. So what I do to draw people to my vending table is I look the part. So typically that means I'm not overdressed, but I'm like, if this is overdressed, this is me. So I basically look like, I look like you will want to stop by the table. And I'm really intentional about what I'm wearing. And it doesn't have to be sexy. You don't have to have your boobs out and your butt out. You can still feel good and look good without being, you know, inappropriate. And then my table is very pretty, for lack of better words. I have like little crystals and mirrors and pop-ups. I use this little vase. Yes, IKEA. I use this vase, like little stuff like this, and actually some other stuff like this too. Some purple candles. Just really, actually, obviously my target audience is mainly women, but things that draw people to my table. But vending is not particularly my favorite. Now, where I struggle is getting people, when they come to the table after they see all these nice things, getting them to leave their email address and or find a reason a way for us to work together. So I'm still working on that. But Felicia, I know you got the secrets. I know you do.
This vending thing, I don't think anybody can tackle it correctly, but you try. The best part about vending is that they're advertising you, right? So a lot of people push their own events, which give people vending opportunities, and they tell people, they put it on flyers or in social media, who's going to be there. So I've seen my name or the picture of my book on certain people's flyers because I'm going to be at their event or I'm going to be one of their vending hosts. And that, you have to think of it in a strategic way. Like that is a way to continue to brand yourself, to get yourself out there, to get your product out there. So I utilize vending at a strategic level. So as far as payment on vending, so vending can be a little pricey. And I've seen free and I've seen crazy prices like $350, $450. I'm not doing that right now. I'm just nearly breaking even when I do vending. So until I get up here, then I'm not even touching anything past 100. I've vended at one event for $100. It was in Baltimore, and the only reason why I paid $100 was because it was at a school and a lot of parents need to be educated on the importance of mentorship. So I was like, these parents, because that is the pivotal point of keeping or sustaining your mentor-mentee relationship, especially if you're in a relationship with a youth. Like parents have to be involved. They have to be educated. From that event, I think I sold 5 books. So I made, I broke even on that, but I got so many opportunities. I got radio interviews. I got magazine interviews. Just from that, I got speaking opportunities at schools, like to educate the youth about what a mentor or mentee is. So when you go to vending, especially if you're still a first time, we're only 5 months in. I dropped my book in July. So what is that? August, September, October.
You've been on the move.
Yeah. So we're only 3 months. We're not even really like 4 months yet. So we're still babies at this thing, but you have to really just look for vending opportunity. Always look for free, but don't be afraid to spend money, at least $50. If your book costs $20, have a strategy to at least sell 3. If you're spending $50, like make at least $10 profit, or just sell 2, but go with that. You're going to leave with the important contacts. You're going to do your best, because every time I set up my table, I don't do the pretty thing like Linnita, because I'm still learning that. But I have a big poster board with my picture of my book and a picture of me saying the mentor model, right? So that's a conversation starter, one, but I also have flyers. I don't stand at the table. I walk around, I talk to people. I also purchase other people's things. I tell them to come to my table. And that's how you got to be. Like, so always go to a vending opportunity with somebody. And that's the struggle also when you're independent, you know, and you're a self-published person, you don't have nobody, but get interns. I brought my cousin from New York. I was like, I know you're good at talking. Work the table while I work the floor, because you can't do everything by yourself.
That's
but
good.
if you don't have nobody, work it. Like, obviously carry a cash box with you. Your products on the table, you know, trust yourself, don't leave everything out, but walk around and bring people to your table. So the events, I make sure there's pitching opportunities. So every event I go to, every vending opportunity, I make sure they give opportunities for the vending people to pitch to the audience. So, and I have my pitch ready, and I always do a song. I always do a call and response. When I say mentor, you say mentee, mentor-mentee, right? So that gives people hype. It gets people active, and it gets people to come to the table.
I love it. I told you guys.
So make sure you spend money wisely. Linnita, like, this is your thing, pitching the book. What are some tips to pitching? Like, this is, how do you do it?
So my formal background is in communications, and specifically marketing, advertising, and PR. So I get how to communicate to people through colors, words, images, emotional appeal, how to get them to buy or feel influenced. That is my thing. And so as I was pitching my book, or as you are pitching your book, you have to think of whom can benefit from the knowledge that you have, or who can have a change in behavior as a result of what you're sharing, or who can feel inspired or moved or changed. And so for me, the college strategy, ironically, I didn't write it for a college student. Now, it is written as if a college student were reading it, but the reality is, when you were in college, did you read books on the side? Felicia, did you read books?
No.
I didn't even read my textbooks. Well, I tried to read them, but it was hard. I had like 8 books.
I read my math book.
And so I didn't intend on college students ramping and raging to buy the book, but I did intend on those whom have relationships with them personally, family, friends, siblings, spiritually, those who have college ministries or educational ministries at their church and they're serving in that capacity. Financially, if you fund a college student, you've adopted someone, you have a god sister, god daughter, god son, you know, you have that college relationship with them as well. Academically, if you work in any arena with high school students transitioning into college, or you work with students whom are in college as a professor, as a high school counselor, as a guidance counselor, or school counselor, they call them. If you work in Upward Bound, College Access, College Foundation, those are the people whom I have in mind when I'm pitching my book. So all of the language is for them. So one of the things that I use to pitch them or market to them is my bookmark. So typically people would use their bookmark and they would put, we'll put it this way. Initially, my graphic designer sent me this with my face on and my logo, all about me. And I said, nope, this time it's not about me. It's really about the people whom I want to pick up the book. So the bookmark is 10 easy ways to support a college student. So all of my materials that are related to the college strategy are not specifically using the verbiage for a student, but for the people whom support them. So you got to think strategically on whom gets the most value out of this, whom is more likely to take the information, pass it, and or influence change. And so that's my focus on pitching the book.
Wow, that's excellent. So mine is a little different. My pitch is never the same, because mentorship is so passionate to me. I'm so passionate about this topic and just sustaining relationships that it changes every time I talk about my book. So if I'm talking to a parent, the pitch is more like a directive. Like, your child needs this. Like, this is what they need. This, and you need to be a part of this. You need to understand what this is. So I pitch it from a passion that it is an involvement that parents have to really pay attention to support, to invest in. Invest is not even a real word in mentorship because it's free, but it's basically talking about your time and just your understanding and getting your child there and making them responsible to keep this relationship going. The book is about that mentorship is a two-way relationship. There's so much pressure on the mentor to try to keep the relationship going when the mentee plays the same type of role. We're on the same level. I may have more expertise, but I'm trying to impact it or impose it on you. So you need to be there.
Yeah.
And vice versa. It's also a way for them to impact us and teach us and bring us up to these trends that we don't know, especially these music. I don't know what's going on in this music industry, but my mentees do. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to like pull away from them. This is the time to get closer to them so you can show them a different route or just understand where they're going. Yeah. So the passionate, when I speak to mentoring organizations, it's a different pitch because obviously know about it, but now I'm speaking on, well, what are tools to sustain your mentor-mentee relationships that you have in your organization? What tools do you have besides one training? So that's a pitch to them because now my book is not just a book to read, it becomes a working strategy book. It becomes a workshop book, right? So when I go to these organizations, I pitch workshops, I pitch series, I pitch this will help with, the retention rate in your organization. Yeah. If I'm pitching to a mentee, I'm pitching to the fact that they have a voice and, a mentor is not a parent. So they come off a little differently. They come off a little receptive. They come off more with a listening ear. Mm-hmm. So it's basically speaking to them that this is a benefit that you should probably, act on. Yeah. So my pitches are really different. So it mostly explains my why, right? This book is a call to action. It's for millennials and professional adults. It's for mentors. It's for mentees. It's for parents. It's for everybody. Everybody needs a mentor.
Sure do.
Oprah says it. Maya Angelou says it. Obama speaks about it. He supports it. We have our own month in January. Mentorship is real. Yes. Right? Success begets success. And Oprah Winfrey, I follow her a lot, but in every speech that she says every successful person has had or have a mentor. Yes. I want to be successful. And I want my mentees or these youth to be successful. So they need to know who's successful. So success begets success. So that's usually where my pitch comes from. Yes. What do you think? Yes. You like it?
I love it.
All right. So let's take it on the hot topic, number 7. Book sales tips, bringing in income. Is that a real thing? Linnita, what is?
So
can you bring it?
You can generate. Look, let me tell you, that PayPal notification when someone purchases your book, hey, when you get more than 2 purchases in a day, when the Lord mighty God sends you 5 purchases in a day, and that's your lunch, your gas, let me tell you, those book sales come in handy. You can't say that you're going to get rich, but it is additional. It's an additional revenue stream.
Called right now money.
Yes, and I was telling my students the other day, you're going to need an additional revenue stream. So what is that going to be for you? Well, anyway, I'm always preaching.
Students, what do you mean? What are you?
Oh, I'm a college professor. I teach oral communication, which is basically public speaking, to students at Anne Arundel Community College. I absolutely love my students.
Nice. Shout out to
yeah, shout out AACC and my students. I may make them watch this for extra credit. But so book sales. How can I put this? To increase your revenue stream or your revenue opportunities, your money, to magnify the amount of money you could make, the goal for me is bulk orders. How can I get organizations and schools to purchase books at quantities of at least 15 or more? And with that, I give them a discount for every 20th book that they purchase. I take $1 off. But I believe bulk orders can just not only increase your revenue stream, but also your reach, the amounts of people who get to your book. at a faster pace. That's one way that I've done book sales. Another thing that we're working on is trying to organize a way to reach the students who will be home for winter break and creating workshops specifically for individual organizations, like whatever their individual needs are. That's another way. Two, the more you talk, the more your book sales will go. So I would sometimes jump on Facebook Live and I may not say anything about I got the book. You're my Facebook friend. I've been talking about it since July. So I don't have to talk about it every day. And as a matter of fact, I never put the words on Facebook, grab, buy, because one, they don't show up on people's feed because of the algorithm of social media. Any of the words that promote people to buy or do things, they don't get the most exposure. So you have to find creative ways.
I didn't know that.
Sell something. Yeah, you have to find creative ways to sell something without saying it. So you may post an image of your book and I may say, thank God it's Friday. Shouting at the post office. Nothing to do with sales. But obviously, if you're my friend, I'm dropping off books because I sold them. And two, I'm selling to you because I'm reminding you, you too can purchase. Or I may say something like, I'll do something like, I do an indication of how many books I sold because I'm about numbers. So I put 96 books sold today, still shouting with the hands, the emoji hands. But social media has been one of the ways that I definitely have increased book sales. And I have noticed when I go live or when I post something, if it's about the book or if it's not, that's actually when the sales come. It's when I'm quiet, I haven't said anything, I'm idle, that I haven't gotten any money. The other thing is there are some relationships that I have been cultivating prior to the book of organizations, of groups who would be best served with this information. So reaching out to them, circling back. Now, it's a hustle for real because how many times have you been sent an email, you flagged, you intended to respond, you want to respond, you just haven't gotten to it yet. And so to move people like you and me, because I'm guilty, you have to keep following up. So sending those emails. So we've gotten 2 bulk order sales thus far. My church did one for 20 books. And what was the other bulk order? Oh, I have one going to Germany for the United States Army. That was for 12 books.
Amen.
So I think bulk order sales is my strategy. What about you, Felicia?
So one, I pitch it to my students too. Shout out to Trinity University statistics class. But I pitch it as far as book sales. Everywhere I go, it's definitely hard. It just breaking even is a gift because you spend money and then you get it back. As far as to cover other costs, it helps. Yeah. But it has been a struggle. Yeah. I'm just being transparent and honest, but it's a non-ending journey because being 3 months in and, my first batch was 100 and then I ordered an extra 200 books. So I had a total of 300 and, the 300 is not gone yet. But however, a lot has gone and I have been, able to show my faces in different scenarios or different organizations or events and speaking about the book. And there's always somebody that buys from anywhere, anything I speak about. If you're not speaking like Linnita said, you're not going to sell. Like you have to talk about it. And sometimes you like, I don't want attention right now. Mm-hmm. So that's me every day. Sometimes I was in the airport leaving from Atlanta like 2 weeks ago. I went to Atlanta for a wedding and the Holy Spirit was like, show your books to these 2 women. No, like, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. I want to talk about no book. I'm coming back. And I just couldn't, I was trying to just finish reading my book, like a book. I just read as I'm waiting for the plane to board. I couldn't read. I couldn't focus. I kept looking at the women. I hope they didn't leave. And then something just said, get up and go. I got up. As soon as I said, I went over to the one lady and she was like, oh, what book are you reading? And I showed her the book. And I was like, oh, I actually want to talk to you about my book. And she was like, what book? And I was like, I wrote a book on mentorship. She said, oh my God, I'm starting a mentoring organization. Stop. Literally. And then the other woman that God told me to talk to if they were right next to each other, I said, oh, I just want to tell you I'm writing a book on mentorship. She was like, I just joined a mentor organization. I got a young girl. Oh my God, let me buy. You have it on you? Now I was just going to give them my bookmark. That's all I was doing. But I had 2 books on me, because you always carry a book, 2 books or 3 books at the most with you everywhere you go. So I had my bookmarks at least. I had this, and I had 2 books in my suitcase, my carry-on. And the lady was like, oh my God, I just joined a mentor organization. I have 2 sons, but I have a female, a 12-year-old girl who I'm mentoring now. She's an older woman. And she's like, do you have your book? And I was like, yes. How much? And I'm like, $20. She was like, okay, here. She just handed me the money. I was like, you listen to the Holy Spirit when he said do something. That was unbelievable. But then from that experience, they all started connecting with each other. Every woman, both of the females. One of the females was like, oh my God, how did you just get up and just talk to me like that? Like, just because she was like, I got a business. I'm starting a mentor organization, but I didn't just think to talk to people about it. I was like, my God told me to get up. I had to listen. But just from there, so you just always have your book. It's gonna grow as you continue to grow. Like, you learn from everywhere, but book sales, it's a strategy. It's a strategic move. It's playing chess. You just gotta be ahead of the game.
Yes.
And I'm learning as I go, but you always have to talk about it. Yeah. Like, that's the only way, even when you just don't want the attention.
And it's so funny because my mom asked me, she said, has anyone given you any feedback on the book? I actually just got some feedback 2 days ago. And I said, no. She said, do you think people are reading it? I said, well, how many books have you purchased and haven't read? A lot. She was like, most of them I've never read. And I said, yeah, I anticipate that most people will do the same. However, they may buy it and not read it, but in my experience, they will tell someone else. And so, like Felicia said, it has worked in my favor, where I always have books in the car, and I'll run into someone and they'll say, hey, someone told me you wrote a book. Do you have a copy? They don't even know what it's about. But if they know you to be a valuable person, like someone whom is always delivering or giving something of value, then they'll support you. So I agree. It's always great to have it handy. And I loved your story.
Thank you. Can I add one thing? So one of the things that Miles Monroe, the video on YouTube, watch it, How to Write a Book, he said, and I remember this so pivotal. He was so important. It was so important. But he was like, it's not about the sales, because I give books away for free too. I don't always ask people for money. Like, you have to give too. Like, sometimes, like in this first journey of 3 months, I probably gave away 20 books. Not all to family, but some to family, because they're supposed to be your biggest supporters.
Yeah.
But and that was a quote unquote. But some have, but not, but I've given it away to people that I know are in high positions. I gave away a lot to CEOs first of organizations. I was like, can you just read this?
Awesome.
And then tell me what you think and go from there. But it's about being in the room when you're not in the room. The best sales that I received came from people pitching about my book that I don't even know them. I wasn't there. They're just talking about, oh, have you seen a Facebook link that was shared? I received something about a book called Mentorship. I received an email 2 weeks ago that said, oh my God, give Felicia, find this person, because they CC'd me, they forward the email to me. So I read everything. They was like, find her. She wrote a book on a mentor model. Find her, get her in, get her a copy of a book, and tell her to come in and speak.
Wow.
That was the email. Like, it was so direct. Find her, and tell her to come in and speak ASAP.
I love it.
And like, it's just really been that dynamic, like just the strategy of it. But make sure you give books away. Like, don't always expect money.
That's good, because I haven't given any away. Not that I didn't want to, because I do want to give them away. I just never thought of that. So thank you. I'm gonna give some away this weekend.
Give it away. Give it away. The benefit comes even better when you give it away. So what about what now? Future events, Miss Linnita. What you got planned?
So for the month of November, I really want to push this book. And so we are gathering up a list of bookstores between Maryland, DC, Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. And in an express sell sheet to just do a pop-up signing. And if people don't purchase a book, it's really the exposure about the book. So we'll be doing that. So the same concept.
When you say we, what do you mean?
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean me and my brand manager, because I don't have time to create these spreadsheets. So she does the research and compiles the lists, and she solicits to them for me to come and promote the book, or however they like to utilize me to be of value to their group. So that's bookstores, churches, and high schools and colleges in those 5 areas, target areas. And so that's going to kick off for the month of November. And so I'm only going to push the book for November. And then after that, I'm going to shift gears. The book will still be available. I'll still come if people want me to speak on that. I'm going to shift gears and develop another product or service to begin to sell at the beginning of January.
Wow.
What about you, Leash?
Future events. Now what? I have an event on December 2nd. So like Linnita said, she hired an intern. I had an intern. I pay her, money that I can. They ain't it ain't a full-time job. But I'm so happy that we can say we are employers. Like we're giving people some college, some money on the side.
It's a work experience.
It's the work experience. So I have an intern who is a communications major at Howard University. And she has been helping me market and share my event. It's called the Mentor-Mentee brunch. So it's going to be December 2nd at the Hive. It's also known as the Anacostia Arts Center, which is in Southeast DC or Washington, D.C. It's going to be Saturday, December 2nd from 1 to 4. And it's basically keeping your mentor-mentee, keeping that relationship together. And usually during the winter months, the mentor relationship seems to lapse. So I'm giving you tips, ideas. Bonding comes from food, so we're eating. We're gonna have speakers come in, such as Yandy from the show.
The Real Housewives.
Yeah, the Real House. No,
that's not her.
She's not from. She's from
hip hop. I don't know.
So you can tell we don't watch the show.
Exactly.
But my intern, she knows her. She's also an important role model as far as mentorship. She's a mentor to Young B, the rapper, the one that did chicken noodle soup with a soda on the side. I'm from New York. So she's her mentee. And then also Willie Moore Jr., I'm trying to get here. He always speaks about the importance of mentorship and having a mentor. And so that's December 2nd. Hopefully you can come out and be another guest or just be a participant. Bring your mentee. It's for mentors and mentees. And if you're a mentor or you want to be a mentor, you can come too and find a mentee, right? It's for everybody, all walks of life, all ages, all genders, all ethnicities. Come out December 2nd, Washington, D.C. Other things I want to do, I want to continue to push the book because January is always considered Mentor Month, and it's been on President Obama's it's been his proclamation and renewal every year. But I believe the new administration is going to continue to promote mentorship. So mentorship, we're going to continue to push it. We're going to have a big celebration in January about the importance of mentorship. It's a workshop series that my book holds. We're going to do, I have visions. When I say we, I don't really know who we is, but I'm speaking it.
Yeah.
And that's what I tend to do, is speak things to existence. Because my visions come from God. So I have to be obedient, but we're going to do something really big in January. So stay tuned for that. But however, just to talk about November, to keep it, in the month, which is next month, what are we doing?
We're going to Long Island. Yes. So
we're doing something together.
Yes, we are. We're sharing the stage. Actually, there are me, Felicia, and a few other authors. We don't know them personally, so we can't shout them out. However, we are excited to be featured guests or guest authors at the Long Island's Author Showcase. And so we're going to use that time to share a little bit about why we wrote the book, the process of becoming an author, how we can work with other groups. And again, this is another marketing tool. This is a book marketing tool. And we didn't touch on that. And I want to take a moment to touch on that. Is that okay, Felicia?
Touch on it.
Okay. So yes, we're going to the Long Island Author Showcase. And we did pay for this. Now, this is actually this is the third vending opportunity. You can call it vending. But this is different because with this vending opportunity, we get the talking time in front of the audience. That's one. We get the photographs from the organization, which are critical in marketing your business. So you can post them on social media. You can send them out an email blast. That's two. 3, we get a video of our stage time. So that's another marketing tool. We can upload it onto YouTube. Now, I'll tell you firsthand, I pay a lot of money for my videographers to come out and cover me. So to have this rolled into one cost, I appreciated that. And then 4, we get the exposure because this is out of state. We're in DC. And so we're traveling to network with a whole nother audience that we probably would not have touched if we were not in this space. So not only are we going to touch the people whom are there, but the people whom are connected to the people whom are following the people whom are going to be there. You get what I'm doing?
I love it.
That's reach. So how can you magnify your reach without, exhausting yourself? This is a good example of that. So we're going to shut it down, basically. But I want to go ahead. What you say?
We're going to shut it down.
We're going to represent for the nation's capital, okay? Because there's some nice women, some nice, available, smart, ambitious women in the nation's capital. We want to go represent them. But look, I want to give you some examples of book marketing tools that I've been using. So some people will tell me, and I'm going to show you this on my screen. Some people will say, okay, well, I am not a college student. I'm not going to college. So this is an opportunity for them to sponsor. So yes, I get it. You don't have any college students. You're old, retired. You don't have any mentees. Well, you can sponsor a student. So that's one way. And I'll share with you another. Another thing that I use is Fiverr. This guy on Fiverr, and I wish I knew, if you want his information, just shoot me an email and we will give those contacts information at the end. But he created, can you see this, Felicia?
I love it, yes.
He created 17 images. This is just one of my book for $5. I don't use this because I don't like this stuff.
I like that.
You do? But that's just one. He created so many. And then this is the last thing that I'll share. Is also like, this is just reminding people that bulk order sales are available. And that's an image for that. So that's some examples of how you can additionally market the book to get the impact that you want. What other ways to market? Oh, leading up to the book, I had an increase of speaking engagement strategically. So basically an opportunity for me to tell people what was coming, for them to follow me, join the email list prior to the sale. I also went Facebook Live every Friday leading up to the actual launch. And on there, I would talk about different areas like stop texting your student to check on them and start emailing them, basically getting them to practice those written communication skills that are actually statistically say that they are actually 2-year and 4-year students whom attend and graduate college are just as deficient in writing as our high school graduates. So how can you change the trajectory of students whom are attending college to make them more proficient for the workplace, get them to exercise those skills? And so stop texting them, start emailing them. So I did like a Facebook Live about that. One way you can support your student, encourage them, share with them that no journey is perfect. Little stuff like that to what we call this soft promotion. So I never mentioned buy, sell. I just kind of told you the value that I'm bringing, what the book is about. And if it is a fit for you, naturally you will have the inclination to at least be inquisitive and or to purchase. So those are just some of my marketing strategies.
So let me share that too, just to share the screen. So I didn't have I'm learning from Linnita too, like Fiverr. I did use Fiverr as far as, getting people to draw my book cover. So I did start there, and I did get Fiverr to edit my book after I already had the publisher first, the publisher that I didn't, that I just stopped using, I did have Fiverr, someone from Fiverr edit. So that was a good cost, and that wasn't expensive. It was like $120, less than $200 to get a really good editor, because you just don't want to pay $5 for somebody to edit. Sure. And that wasn't like the option. But however, like Linnita, professionalism is the best way. But say you didn't know about that right away, right? You just started. So I did this. I just created, my own designs. So I just used paint, and I started marketing just like this, put in the book is here to introduce and remind you of the impact mentorship brings. I put the link, I put a picture of me. Like, these were just simple things that I didn't know to do, like Linnita was suggesting. That's one. And like other things that I did with my book to market my book. As far as when I said that I did something at the book launch, where we all came together and did the vision board. So this was the vision board that we did. What is a mentor? And everyone pitched in and created their own idea what a mentor is. But we all came together, and it all made sense, because this is actually what a mentor is. And it doesn't get any better than that.
And it's a good keepsake. This is a good keepsake. Mm-hmm. Take this to your speaking engagements. I love it.
I take it everywhere. It's like it's another poster board. Awesome. It's another way to market. So that's what I do.
Awesome.
What I've done so far.
Yay. One thing about Felicia, she's very creative. So we'll share our contact information, but you should really follow her. She spends a lot of her time out in the community getting her message out. So she's really good at that.
Oh, thank you so much. But let's continue to talk about, November 4th, because we're so excited. This is our first event that we're doing together, and we also want you to be a part of it. Like, we want everybody to support. Like, so this is $2, right? And it's at 294 Farmingdale Road, Farmingdale, New York, right? Part of Long Island. It's called Long Island Authors Showcase and Networking Seminar. So you can network. So if you do have a book, at least, like, since you didn't pay for this event, there's other ways you can get your book out there. Bring a bookmark, one way. Bring mini booklets, way number 2. Bring business cards. Bring a sign-up sheet, so that way you can collect people's emails, and then you can send them your book, right? And that's something that I learned. Like, if you don't want to pay for a vending that costs $300, $200, you can still attend, and you can bring your own sign-in sheet and have people go around each table and just collect people's emails. And from there, you go back to your computer, because you save your money, and then you push your book out to these emails that you collected. That's one way to do it too. Like, we don't really have the whole leverage or, a lot of money right now, but there's still little things you can do. You don't have to sit on your book. Don't sit on your book. That's the quote of the day. Yeah. Don't sit on your book.
And you know what? I hope you didn't think this was going to be a fast pace, because you printed it and now you are an author and now it's going to happen. Like,
why did I think that? Please explain to me, why did I think that?
I hope that's not what you thought, because the hardest part after writing the book is selling it. So getting the message out, getting the exposure, that is the hard part. And making your money back. Speaking of money, how much money did you spend, Felicia?
So not a lot. Well, yeah, a lot, because it's a product, but less than $1,000. Like, I can honestly, I spent less than $1,000. Now, have I gotten $1,000 back yet for the sales? Not yet, but it's coming. But I did at least spend $800.
Okay.
But once I spent, because the first part was the $500 that I spent, and that was paying like a third of what the publisher wanted. So I started off by paying $500, $450, something like that. And she edited. She did amazing editing. Like, she told me things that I didn't want to hear. And I switched it. I switched it up, but I canceled that company out. And then I did Fiverr. I did freelance stuff.
Yes.
Like, people charge cheap, but they good at it.
Yes.
I'm on Fiverr, by the way. If you need a math question answered, $5, contact me. Look me at Fiverr. $5 to answer a homework problem. I got you. I got you. I'm a statistics professor. I got you. But Fiverr is definitely the best way to go. Always vet them, right? Read the comments that people read. What do they call testimonials? Read them. Read the reviews. That's what it's called. Read them, because that can definitely, make you to feel like you didn't waste money. I spent money on a Fiverr person when they created my book cover. I didn't like it. She wasn't giving me what I wanted, but the more she did something, I made her work. I was like, I want that. I want that. Do it over. I made her work. But the closer that she got close. So when I provided to somebody else that, a friend of mine, and I forgot that I should ask anyway, when he did it, he hit it. Because she already got close to what she didn't hit it exactly, but she got close. I was like, it's close, it ain't there yet. Yeah. And you know what you want when you're an author. Yes, the book cover is the hardest part though. Why you think that, Linnita?
Because it's the first impression. You're like, hey, I sat down, I created all this content, this value. I want people to pick it up and buy it. I want it to be magnetized. I want people to be attracted to it. And it was the hardest part. I agree.
It's very hard. Now I'm gonna just pitch this event one more time. I want you to get your tickets. It's on Eventbrite. Here's a link. Register now. It's $10. If you're in New York, come to Long Island. I'm from New York. I know it take an hour. Just come.
I would love to meet you. Shake your hand. I love to meet other people, so I would love to see you. Come on out.
Please come, please. So, where can we find Linnita Hosten?
You can find me on all social media platforms utilizing the name, my first and last name, Linnita Hosten, Linnita, Hosten with no L, HOS, like host, EN. That's it. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, although I don't use it. And I'm also on YouTube. I don't use that much either, but I'm about to start.
Okay. And you can do you have a website?
Yes, you can. My website is linnitahosten.com, and you can shoot me an email there. You can also shoot me an email at info@linnita.hosten.com, and you can purchase the book, The College Strategy, linnitahosten.com/store. And that's the other thing. You figure out where you're going to sell your book from. My book is only available through my website, linnitahosten.com/store.
Okay. And for Felicia Fort, my name is Felicia Fort, Felicia Fort. Unlike Linnita, I'm not really consistent with my social media platform. I'm still working on that. But on Facebook, it's Felicia Fort. On Instagram is @Felicia.Fort. On Twitter, it's @FeliciaFort13. It's also at One Step Closer 06/13/2012 on Twitter. And you can also find me on my One Step Closer Foundation Incorporated website, which is www.onestepcloser2.com. The book page is also on there. Just go to the page book or go to /book.html. You can find me at Trinity University. I teach statistics. I'm a college professor. I teach statistics, introduction to business, and what else I teach? Research literacy. Right. So if you need help, I'm a math tutor. I help you face your fears in math. I also am an up-and-coming speaker. I only speak on the importance of math and mentorship, but math related to numerology and walking in your name.
Ooh, that's deep.
So that's what I speak about, just walking in you, because I love first impression. So the first impression that you have to someone is telling somebody your name. So it's how you say it. And what the only way you know how to say it is when you know what your name means, and numbers relate to words and letters relate to numbers. So I speak on numerology and walking into your name, walking into your passion. I speak on mentorship, and I speak on visions, vision statements, #vision statements, right? Speaking it out loud, bringing it to your reality, right? Law of attraction. So find us. But I know we're not done because we have a load full of questions. I just want to say thank you all for like all your questions. We've seen it come in, but we wanted to save the best for last, which is all about you. We are first-time authors, right? This is called So You Think You Want to Write a Book, First-Time Authors Experience. We're just giving you our first-hand experience, but we saved the best for last because we know that you have a product.
Yes.
Or you just want to support us, or, you know, all the other reasons. Linnita, pull some of the questions out. Pick two and I'll pick two.
Okay, I got one. The first question is from Janelle. How did you decide on your editor? Okay, so
it's a good question.
I am a fan of freelance services. I'm really big on guru.com, Guru, and Fiverr.com with an extra R. And so I went on to Fiverr, and like Felicia said, I vetted out. I'm a stickler for grammar, spelling errors, capitalization, all of those things, typography, like that's my thing. So I can see somebody faking the fake, or I can see when somebody's really good. Mm-hmm. And so there was this guy on there, and he had a portfolio. I mean, it was extensive because he had done several different types of genres, workbooks. He had done fiction stories, baby books. So I knew he would have an unbiased approach, and I knew he would bring a level of professionalism and a new perspective to my writing. And so I reached out to him, and he cost $300, and I was so shocked because I was expecting to pay more than that. And it came with 6 revisions, and I used all 6 of them. And I submitted my first draft to him, and he said, this is great, but it's just a skeleton. Your book needs more content. And I was hurt because, you know, when you think you're finished, and for someone to come back and say it ain't ready, that was like, I was, oh my God, freaking out. And I had speaking engagements lined up, and I had to meet this deadline to get the book on time for the launch for my birthday. And so I was determined to get his approval. So I went back, I did more research. I grabbed more testimonies from my personal college experience. And I even did a survey of other people who attended college. And I added all that together. I came back with a second draft. I sent it to him, and he said, now we're hot and smoking. And I said, yes. So he sent the first draft. He formatted everything. I just sent him a Word document. So he chose the typography, he did the structures, the blank pages, the headings, all of that. And so I went with him. Now, he was a little slow. And I have seen in Facebook forums a lot of people asking, how long should I wait for my editor? My editor's dragging their feet. Well, if you think about it, that manuscript was 100 pages. Not 100, 100. Sorry for my grammar, English. It was 100 pages. How long would it take you to do that? So you got to be realistic. You got to be realistic with the time that you choose, but do choose people who may be time sensitive. So yes, that's how I chose my editor.
Wow. I would say, yeah, after I got rid of one, Fiverr, and I went through the reviews, and I went through, I didn't want the cheapest person, but I didn't want the most expensive. So I was like, cheap, that's not really good quality. Like, they're going to do it fast. They're not really going to take their time. And so I really vetted the person before I gave her my work. I was really scared to give somebody my work because
I was too.
So I put copyright. Like I put the watermark. It wasn't copywritten at that moment, but I scared her. I was so scared to put it on there, and I kept vetting her, and I was like, Felicia, how is she gonna read it? Like, I mean, you gotta give it her. Like, unless you want to go to somewhere and give, somebody, but obviously you don't know nobody, so just do it. So I did it. Hers was $120, and I have a 170-page book. So I was really pleased. And I was like, she had 4 tries and before you could say approved. So I sent it to her, she sent it back in like 2 days.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. And then I sent it back. I was like, just do it again. I didn't read it. I just do it again. 2 days is a fast turnaround. Even though I wanted the book fast, even though every book I read, it could be T.D. Jakes, it could be Ayanna Von Zant, it could be Oprah Winfrey, it could be any book, I always find a mistake. Like, I always find a mistake. And these authors are authors. Like, they got books out. But I was trying so hard not to find a mistake. But I did find 2 mistakes in my book. I'm not going to lie. It's just like a wordsmithing. It's just, who's versus who, like, So I'm very pleased to say you can't have it all.
Yes,
but
it's true.
As long as I've read my book. Like once she sent it back and I got the printed copy, I read it. Like I read it again. Like you have to really be, because I didn't want errors. Yep. But you really can't avoid. Did you find an error in your book, or you don't have it?
Sent that manuscript back the first time. I said, "What in the world am I paying you $300 for?" I had highlights. I broke it down. When I said, I cannot send you my requested revisions through email. We need to get on the phone because it's way too many. It was little things like spacing of words. And when it's your baby, it's yours. Like you take that so personal. Like, no, we got to get this right. So yeah, there were errors. That's why we had to revise it 6 times. And I'm like you, and I got tired. I'm like, I'm tired of reading this book, man. I'm gonna know this book front to back. But they say when you are about to publish, before you print, you should know how to find everything in your book because you have read it multiple times.
And that's how you can prove. Because when I'm in speaking engagements and people say, "Oh, what chapter?" Page 82. Like, you gotta know. Like you gotta know, and that's the most important part of just reading your work and knowing your work from front to back.
Yes,
that's it. But I have a question.
What you got?
So James Trevante from Jersey. We got Jersey now.
Okay, Jersey.
So he said his question was about the printing process. What platform did you use?
Good question.
Did you use Staples? That would have been $1 million. I didn't know. So I use CreateSpace. I heard about it from different people that used it, that was self-publishers. I researched, and it's definitely a friendly, do-it-yourself friendly type of platform. So that's what I use. If there's other ones, Thunderclap or whatever it's called, it's other ones. But I use what I heard most of.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if that's the best strategy, but a lot of people always talk about CreateSpace, and that's what I use. However, I can't get into Kramer bookstore.
Okay.
Right? Because it has a CreateSpace ISBN. Now, if I were to pay for an ISBN number,
correct,
which was an extra $99, I just don't have right now.
Yeah.
Then I probably would have gotten into a lot of other bookstores. Now, Kramer is a bookstore in DC. It's local, but I was pitching in to have my book there, and they just, because of my ISBN. So there's some pitfalls to that when you
That's good.
Do CreateSpace and purchase the ISBN number instead of doing your own. Now, ISBN numbers can range high.
Yeah.
It starts as $99, but some can get you in other places that, a CreateSpace ISBN can't. So my book is now being vetted by the libraries in DC. It's being vetted by Sankofa Bookstore. Is being vetted by Barnes & Nobles in DC. Also Howard Bookstore.
Come through, Lord.
So it's being vetted. It's not there yet, but I'm praying that they're gonna call me because they have my book for a month. Like, hurry up. But it's a process. So I'm not rushing because the good things come to people who wait. So I'm very patient. I'm learning. I'm very patient because one, I deal with kids. Like I deal with youth, tutoring math. You gotta be patient. So that's just like a blessing because I got that firsthand. But when it comes to your own work and you want to be successful, and you want to be successful in something that you did by yourself, it takes time. Any thoughts on book processes and printing and stuff like that?
I did look into CreateSpace, but I decided to use Lulu, Lulu.
I heard of that. Okay.
And I use Lulu. That's where I print my books through. And it only cost me $2.40 something to print the book, and I sell it for $14.99. So the profit margin is really great. If you price point your book, especially at $20 like Felicia, you really can make a profit off the book sales. I think I chose Lulu because so I went through all of them: Smashbook, BookBaby, CreateSpace, 24-hour books. I uploaded my manuscript to all of them. My book is a 5x9, I believe, 5.5 by 9.5, and I compared what it would cost me to print bulk orders, so 50 quantities of 50 and 100. And Lulu was the least expensive option, so that's why I chose them. Not that they're better or anything. And I don't think that the quality, I think the quality could be better, but it's still buyable. I'm just a person who likes, you know, I like it to be a standard. I would say this is probably, you know, B+. It's not bad. So yeah, I used Lulu because I thought that they were most cost effective.
Okay. Do you have another question on your end?
I do. This was from Tanya McKenzie. She's from DC. Shout out to the nation's capital, Chocolate City. She said, how did you pick your title? Oh, that's a good one. Oh, how did you pick it? Oh, I struggled because I had a long sentence title. And I went to this book seminar and he said, you got to get your title down. He said, your title should speak to your head and the subtitle should speak to your heart. And the title should be 4 words and the subtitle can be up to 10. Well, my initial book title was How to Do College the Right Way. The unspoken truths about, it was very long. And so I had to break it down into the college strategy. And you'll find that a lot of successful books, common books, their titles are very short and they're very catchy. One, it's really hard to market a long title. It doesn't show up well in print form. And then it's difficult to read because all of it can't be large. So you got to find a way to size it. So try to shorten your titles to about 3 to 4 words, and you can put the length in your subtitle. What about you? How did you choose your title?
So my title, I was playing with that thing. But yeah, it was hard because you want to grab her. Right?
Yes.
In English class, when you write in your introduction, that thing need to be a hook.
Yes.
Because that's what keeps people reading. So first it was going to be the mentor. But when you hear the mentor, it feels like a novel. And I was like, I don't want to write no novel. So, and that's what, you know, people started telling me, like the mentor, that's more like a novel. You have characters. I don't have no characters. I don't have time to make up names and pictures and give people descriptions. That's not what this book was about. So then I had the mentor guide, and I was like, yeah, everybody use guide in their book. Ew, I don't want guide. Like, ew. It wasn't a grabber. So then I said, you know, when you think of, I knew I wanted the mentor. Like, I knew I want that because I want that to be the focus. But then I was like, modeling, like role modeling and modeling. When you think of modeling, it's somebody you look up to.
Yeah.
Right? Somebody you want to be, somebody you want to attract, you know. So I said the mentor, and like a module, it's also a blueprint.
Oh.
Like, so I thought of that and I was like, well, this book is that. So I called the mentor model.
I love it.
And then I said, obviously the subtitle came because it's a flow on words, but the title, the mentor model, that was a hard process, but it came. And I also prayed, like sometimes you got to push the book aside, go away for like a week and like do other things besides looking at that book. And then titles would come too from that.
Yes.
And then thesaurus, like just doing thesaurus, playing with words, like synonyms and antonyms and things like that. So that helped. I had to go away for a while. And then I came, wow, the mentor model.
I love it. What other questions do you have? Does anyone else on your side have any questions for us?
It looks like you picking girls, so I'm picking another guy. It's a lot of questions, but we answered most of them from these. Okay. But Timothy Winston, he's from South Carolina. He said, how do you know your audience? How do you know who your audience is? Like you write the book, and I'm helping you out, Timothy. I'm adding to it. But you write the book. You're not writing based on audience. You're writing to get your story out. But now that you have the book, then people say, well, this is what the publishers say first, too. Who's your audience? You're like, I don't know. I mean, me. Like, anybody look like me is anybody, just period. People is my audience. But you have to narrow it down. So how do you narrow it down? Because everybody's not going to read your book. You got to be for real. Yes. So, Linnita, how do you narrow down the college strategy? How do you narrow it down? It's hard. Everybody gonna read it, girl. We gotta be real.
We have to be real with ourselves. And the reality was that I didn't believe college students, not the average. Let me stop saying I don't believe they will. The average, it's the one that's going above and beyond that will read it. So the average student, I don't believe will read it. But again, those people who support them, there's so many people who are involved in a college student's life, really. Financially, personally, spiritually, professionally, academically. All of those people are my target audience. And that's basically everybody. That's basically everybody. Now I have to find a way to strategically say that, because if I jump on Facebook Live and I say, hey, I have my book, The College Strategy, people will tune out. So that's why I have to say things like, do you have a student in your life whom you care about? You care about their trajectory and how they transition out of college into the real world, because that's going to determine the value that they bring. What can you do to create the impact in their lives now so that they can be successful later? Like, now you're listening. So how can I target them to make them basically play a role in a college student's life? So that's kind of how I pitch and kind of pull and tug at my audience.
So picking my audience, like that's the question when you go through, like I said, I first went through a publisher. So she asked me who's my target audience. And that was a struggle because I'm like, everybody. And so she was like, no, you gotta be able to, because even when you try to put your book in Barnes and Nobles, they have, what are the categories. Yeah. So they want to know, they ask you the question, who's your target audience, for a reason, because if you're trying to get your book in bookstores, it can't just be in the front of the store, like, hey, grab it. No, it has to be in a category. So that's one point of why they want to know. So then you have to really think and say, well, who is this book for? So the mentor model, Tools to Building and Sustaining a Healthy Mentor-Mentee Relationship, is for, because the back of the book says it's a call to action, right? It's a call to action. So just like Obama put a plug into becoming a mentor people, I really am speaking to millennials and professional adults to join these mentoring organizations, because there is a demand for mentors. There's a lot of youth out here struggling, need somebody to look up to outside of their family, especially if they don't have it. So millennials, 24 and up, be a mentor. But then part 2 speaks to a mentee. So once the mentor finds a mentee, or the mentee finds a mentor, the mentor should give them this book and say, well, just so you know your role, read part 2, the mentee. And then we start this part 3, the mentorship relationship.
That's good.
So I'm pitching it to mentor millennials, professional millennials, and adults. Adults meaning everybody falls in that category. Parents, working people. It's for people who are succeeding. And then who's the book also for? Mentees. There's no age to a mentee. So if you're 50, you want to birth something, right? You didn't really go back. You want to go back to college. But I have a lot of clients. I don't just tutor, and I don't have a tutoring business just for youth. It's all ages. My oldest, client is 77. They want to return back to school.
Wow.
I have a 50-year-old who had GED, and then she got a degree. Right? She's joined college, and I had her on. And a male. I have males too, but they want a mentor, like somebody to help. So it's for professionals to be a mentor, right? And then it's for anybody who's seeking success from someone to be a mentee.
Okay.
So to merge that relationship.
Okay.
But there's no mentorship. So get the book, www.onestepcloser2.com, LinnitaHosten.com/store. So those are the questions that we're going to pull today. We wanted to keep you, 45 minutes strong. So I just want to push this back to just say thank you. So you think you want to write a book, first time authors experience live casts. This is, an amazing thing. We appreciate your support. Linnita, just tell your book again. What's your title? Show your book from your shelf.
Strategy. How ambitious students create workplace value. I dedicated to my mom, because if it were not for her, I don't think that I would have had that same experience or encounter that I had on my college campus. And I talk about that in my book. So you can grab a copy again at LinnitaHosten.com/store. And thank you for tuning in. If you stayed to the end, thank you. And tell us what you think. Was this helpful? Leave a comment. Did you enjoy it? What did you learn? Like, share. And if you know an author, share with them. Or an aspiring author, someone who started a book and stopped. this could probably encourage them along the way, because we all encounter that. So thank you for joining us. Please share. Again, feel free to reach out and have an awesome weekend.
Can you also show the mentor model? I don't have a live copy, but Linnita is a supporter. I love her.
Look, you gotta support other people. Don't think it's always going to be about you. You do have to find ways to support other people. I have a lot of books from other authors way before I wanted to write a book. You gotta support other people. So yes, I got my girl's book.
And I got hers. So I thank you. We thank you. So please leave a comment. God bless.
Yeah. Bye.